Maya Rodriguez had lived in apartment 4B for exactly 3 weeks, and in that time, she'd perfected the art of friendly distance. She'd wave at neighbors in the hallway, offer a quick smile at the mailboxes, but never linger long enough for actual conversation. Her dark hair was always pulled back in a severe ponytail, her designer sunglasses perpetually perched on her nose, even indoors, creating an invisible barrier between her and the world. "She's like a beautiful statue," her neighbor Ethan Cole told his roommate one evening. "Nice to look at, impossible to touch." Ethan had noticed her immediately. Who wouldn't? But it was her contradictions that intrigued him. She'd blast old jazz music at odd hours, the soulful melodies suggesting depth beneath that cool exterior. He'd seen her laughing on her balcony during phone calls, her whole face transforming, only to snap back to composed neutrality the moment she stepped into public view. Their first real interaction happened on a Thursday. Ethan was struggling with grocery bags when Maya emerged from her apartment. She held the elevator without being asked, then stood in perfect silence during the descent, scrolling through her phone. Professional, distant, untouchable. "Thanks," he'd said. "No problem," she'd replied, not looking up. But Ethan caught something in the elevator's mirrored walls, the briefest flicker of a smile before she suppressed it. The breakthrough came through Maya's best friend, Jenna, who lived across the complex. Ethan had befriended Jenna at the community pool, and one Saturday afternoon, she let something slip. "Maya's not actually cold, you know," Jenna said, sipping her iced coffee. "She just has this thing about appearing tough. Trust me, underneath all that Ice Queen energy, she's secretly the biggest softie. Like embarrassingly so." "Really?" Ethan leaned forward, intrigued. Jenna grinned mischievously. "She has these weird comfort things she'd die before admitting to anyone. Like, she watches cartoon movies when she's sad. And she has this stuffed rabbit from childhood she still sleeps with." "You're making that up." "I swear. And get this." Jenna lowered her voice conspiratorially. "She's obsessed with having her ears scratched. Like, absolutely obsessed. Her ex used to do it, and she'd melt into a puddle. But she'd never, ever admit it feels good. She'd pretend to hate it, even while leaning into it." Ethan filed this information away, unsure what to do with it. But fate had other plans. The following week, the building's annual rooftop barbecue brought everyone together. Maya showed up in her usual armor, crisp white blouse, tailored jeans, that same detached smile. She stationed herself near the drinks table, phone in hand, radiating "don't approach" energy. But Ethan noticed her stealing glances around the party, her fingers fidgeting with her earring. She looked lonely, beautiful and untouchable, and completely alone in a crowd. He grabbed 2 beers and crossed the invisible line she'd drawn around herself. "Mind if I join the island of solitude?" he asked. Maya looked up, surprised. Her guard went up instantly, but something in Ethan's easy smile made her pause. "It's a free country," she said, the words coming out more defensive than intended. "Wow, enthusiastic welcome." Ethan grinned, handing her a beer. "I'm Ethan from 4C. We shared an elevator once. It was magical." Despite herself, Maya's lips twitched. "I remember. You had 17 grocery bags. 12, but who's counting?" He settled against the railing beside her, careful to maintain respectful distance. "So what brings you to stand alone at a party specifically designed for mingling?" "I'm observing," Maya said coolly. "People watching is underrated." "Ah, so you're judging everyone. I respect that." This surprised a genuine laugh out of her, short and quickly stifled, but real. Ethan caught the way her whole face softened for that brief moment, the ice cracking just slightly. They fell into surprisingly easy conversation. Ethan had a gift for making Maya almost forget to maintain her walls. He was funny without trying too hard, asked questions that showed actual interest, and didn't seem put off by her occasional sharp retorts. When she made a sarcastic comment about the party's sad excuse for guacamole, he laughed like she'd said the funniest thing he'd ever heard. An hour passed. The sun began setting, painting the sky in oranges and purples. Maya had relaxed incrementally, her posture less rigid, her responses longer than single sentences. That's when Ethan noticed her doing it. absently rubbing behind her ear while talking, a small unconscious gesture that seemed to soothe her. Jenna's words echoed in his mind. "You okay?" he asked. "You keep touching your ear." Maya's hand dropped immediately, like she'd been caught doing something embarrassing. "It's nothing. Just itchy. Wanting to check if there's something there." Ethan moved slightly closer, his voice gentle. "No, I'm fine." But he was already reaching out, his fingers brushing her hair aside. Maya stiffened, her breath catching as his fingertips grazed the shell of her ear. For a moment, neither of them moved. "I don't see anything," Ethan said softly, but instead of pulling away, he let his fingers linger, gently scratching behind her ear with the lightest pressure. Maya's eyes widened. Her first instinct was to jerk away, to snap at him for invading her space. But the sensation, the sensation sent tingles down her spine, a warmth spreading through her chest that she absolutely refused to acknowledge. "What are you doing?" she demanded, but her voice came out breathy instead of sharp. "Just helping with that itch," Ethan replied innocently, continuing the gentle, scratching motion. His eyes held a playful challenge. "I don't." Maya started to protest, but the words died as his fingers found a particularly sensitive spot. Her eyes fluttered closed for just a second before she caught herself. "You don't what?" Ethan asked, clearly enjoying this. "I don't like that," Maya insisted, even as she failed to move away. "It's weird." "Really?" "Because you're leaning into my hand right now." Maya's eyes snapped open, and she realized with horror that he was right. She'd unconsciously tilted her head, pressing into his touch like a cat seeking affection. She jerked back, crossing her arms defensively. "I was not," she said, her cheeks flushing pink in the fading light. "You absolutely were." Ethan's grin was infuriating and somehow endearing at the same time. "It's okay to admit something feels good, you know." "It doesn't feel good. It feels annoying." "Annoying," Ethan repeated, stepping closer. "Is that why you're blushing?" "I'm not blushing. It's the sunset." Hum. He reached out again, slower this time, giving her every opportunity to move away. His fingers found her ear again, and this time he was more deliberate, tracing the curved edge before scratching gently behind it. Maya's breath hitched. Every nerve ending seemed to light up at his touch. It was such a simple thing, innocent, really, but it felt impossibly intimate. No one had touched her like this in months, and certainly no one who made her heart race the way Ethan did. "Stop," she whispered, but made no move to enforce the command. "Do you really want me to?" Ethan's voice was low, his face closer now. She could smell his cologne, something woody and warm. Maya bit her lip, fighting an internal battle. Every instinct screamed at her to maintain her walls, to push him away, to be the untouchable ice queen everyone expected. But God, his touch felt amazing, and the way he was looking at her, like she was fascinating rather than intimidating, made something in her chest ache. She started, but then his fingers found a spot that made her knees actually weaken. A small sound escaped her throat, something between a sigh and a whimper. Ethan's eyes darkened with interest. "That's what I thought. You're insufferable," Maya managed, but there was no heat in it. "And you're a terrible liar." His other hand came up, fingers threading gently through her hair near her temple. "You know what I think?" "I'm sure you'll tell me," she said, but her voice had gone soft, surrendering. "I think you've spent so long pretending to be tough that you've forgotten it's okay to want gentle things. Soft things." His fingers continued their maddeningly gentle exploration, scratching lightly, sending shivers down her spine. There's no weakness in admitting this feels good. Maya's defenses were crumbling like a sandcastle against the tide. She could feel it happening, could feel herself leaning into him, her body betraying every cool word that left her lips. "It's just ear scratches," she said weakly. "Then why are you trembling?" Her whole body had gone liquid and warm, hyper-aware of every point where they were almost touching. The party continued around them, but it felt like they existed in a bubble, the rest of the world fading away. "Ethan," his name came out like a plea, though she wasn't sure what she was pleading for. "Tell me the truth," Ethan murmured, his fingers still working their magic. Does this feel good? Maya opened her mouth to deny it again, but when she met his eyes, warm and knowing and without judgment, something inside her simply gave up the fight. Yes, she breathed, the admission feeling like jumping off a cliff. Yes, it feels incredible. The smile that broke across Ethan's face was triumphant and tender all at once. Was that so hard? Harder than you could possibly know. But saying it out loud had released something in her. The tension she'd been carrying in her shoulders melted away. I hate admitting I need softer things. Why? His voice was genuinely curious as both hands moved to cradle her face, thumbs brushing her cheekbones while fingers worked the sensitive areas behind her ears. Maya's eyes drifted closed. Because soft gets you hurt. Because needing things makes you vulnerable. Because her voice caught as his touch sent another wave of pleasure through her. Oh God, don't stop. There she is, Ethan said softly. The real Maya. She opened her eyes to find him watching her with an intensity that made her stomach flip. They drifted even closer, barely inches apart now. She could feel the heat radiating from his body, could see the way his gaze kept dropping to her lips. This is crazy, Maya whispered. We barely know each other. Then let's change that. His fingers traced down from her ears to her jaw, tilting her face up. Have dinner with me tomorrow. Let me take you somewhere we can talk without a crowd. I don't date neighbors. It's a rule. You also don't let people touch you. But here we are. His thumb brushed across her lower lip, and Maya's breath caught. Sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Ethan, tell me you don't feel this, he challenged. Tell me this is all in my head, and I'll walk away right now. Maya couldn't, because she did feel it. This magnetic pull, this inexplicable connection that had formed over beers and banter and the simple act of his fingers in her hair. It terrified her. It exhilarated her. I feel it, she admitted, her voice barely audible. Ethan's smile was slow and devastating. Good, because I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since the elevator. That was 3 weeks ago. Exactly. He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear as he whispered, Been a long 3 weeks. Maya shivered, her hands finally breaking free from where they'd been frozen at her sides. They found his chest, fingers curling into his shirt. If we do this, if I let you in, you can't just disappear. I don't do casual well. Good, Ethan said, pulling back just enough to meet her eyes. Because I don't want casual. I want real. Messy, complicated real. Something in Maya's chest cracked, wide open at those words. She'd spent so long protecting herself, building walls, keeping everyone at arm's length. And here was this man, offering to climb right over all of it, asking for messy and complicated instead of running from it. Kiss me, she whispered, surprising herself with her boldness. Ethan didn't need to be told twice. His lips found hers, gentle at first, questioning. Maya answered by pressing closer, her hands sliding up to his neck, fingers tangling in his hair. The kiss deepened, and she made a small sound of pleasure that had nothing to do with ear scratches and everything to do with the way he held her, like she was precious and fierce all at once. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Maya felt dizzy. Your place or mine? She asked, her usual composure completely abandoned. Yours is closer, Ethan grinned. But Maya, we don't have to rush this. I'm not rushing. I'm choosing. She grabbed his hand, interlacing their fingers. I'm choosing to let you in. I'm choosing to stop being so afraid. I'm choosing you. They slipped away from the party, no one noticing or caring as they disappeared into the building. The elevator ride to the 4th floor felt endless and too quick all at once. Maya's hand shook as she unlocked her door, hyper-aware of Ethan's presence behind her, his hand on the small of her back. Her apartment was nothing like he'd expected, warm and lived in, with throw blankets and bookshelves crammed with romance novels and, yes, a stuffed rabbit on the couch. Don't, Maya warned, seeing his eyes land on the rabbit. I wasn't going to say anything, Ethan said, but his grin was fond. Except that you're adorable. I am not. He cut her off with another kiss, walking her backward until her legs hit the couch. They tumbled down together, laughing, the tension transforming into something playful and electric. Ethan's fingers found her ears again, and Maya arched into him with a moan. "Sensitive here," he murmured against her neck, cataloging her responses. "What other secrets are you hiding? Maybe you'll have to find out." Maya breathed, her own hands exploring the planes of his back through his shirt. They spent the night discovering each other. Every sensitive spot, every sigh, every confession whispered in the dark. Maya learned that Ethan loved when she dragged her nails down his spine, that he made the most incredible sounds when she kissed his throat. Ethan discovered that Maya wasn't just sensitive about her ears, but about being held gently, being touched like she mattered. "Tell me again," he whispered hours later, both of them tangled together on her bed, skin against skin. "Tell you what." Maya's voice was lazy, satisfied, more relaxed than she'd felt in years. "That this feels good. That you're not pretending." Maya propped herself up on one elbow, looking down at him with eyes that held no more ice, only warmth. "This feels better than good. This feels like coming home. And I'm done pretending. With you, I want to be real." Ethan pulled her down for a kiss that was both promise and celebration. "Then be real with me. All the messy, complicated, ear-scratch-loving parts of you." Maya laughed, really laughed, the sound free and genuine. "Deal. But only if you promise to never stop making me laugh like this." "I promise," Ethan said, already reaching for her again. "I promise." And as dawn began to paint the sky outside her window, Maya realized that letting down her walls hadn't made her weak at all. It had made her brave. And Ethan, with his gentle touches and patient heart, had shown her that being soft wasn't something to hide. It was something to celebrate. The Ice Queen had melted, and in her place was simply Maya, perfectly imperfect, wonderfully vulnerable, and finally, completely herself.